Just so you know, guys, the subscriber special Q&A is still in development, so if you haven't already, comment, question. What is going on, guys? Daniel aka Phoenix DCS coming at you guys with another brand new YouTube video. A little different today. We are reviewing Attack on Titan Season 3. It wrapped up about 2 weeks ago. It was split like part 1, part 2, a little gap, but I'm doing it all, okay? And we're going in depth, so spoiler warning, all right? So if you haven't seen it, don't want to know anything about it, click off the video, come back after you have, but we're diving into the review. And you guys know I got 4 categories I always talk about in my reviews. I got character, story, visuals, and music whenever it comes to like medium like this. So let's jump right into characters. Now we got our main character, Eren, and so, you know, Eren, first part of the season, first arc, I'm gonna say he's like same old whiny bitch Eren. Like totally annoying, terrible, worst protagonist ever. Second arc, I feel like he really gets his shit together and really turns it around and is like, hell yes, and is not a whiny bitch anymore, and he's all for the mission and doing everything. And then even towards the end, he gets kind of like self-existential and just like starts thinking about the whole meaning of everything now that they know the past and everything. And so it adds a little more level of doubt that Eren has that he hasn't really had before, which is very refreshing to see. Mikasa, of course, is always like, before she was like one of my favorite characters, and then she was like, just protect Eren. That was her character definition. And now she's literally just there just because she's a good soldier, I guess. She doesn't really do anything, which is very disappointing. So suck you on that part. Armin, of course, is like really awesome. I mean, he's always been awesome, really good strategist, but then now he has like to carry some of the weight on his shoulders from like being chosen to survive versus Erwin. So he's got to deal with that guilt and like his own abilities, which is really cool, you know, just stepping up to the plate. And he's also like continued to prove that he's a genius throughout the entire show. Levi continues to be my favorite character of all time because he's got to deal with the repercussions of being the best soldier. You know, anybody who dies on his watch, he feels guilt because he wasn't good enough to save them or wasn't good enough to prevent that from happening because everybody expects so much from him, right? And it was cool to see his relationship with Kenny, to see a little bit of his history and how he interacts with them. A good way to show character development is how they treat other characters and how they interact with them. So it was like cool to see like him as a student outshine his master, and just having to pick between Erwin and Armin was a really big decision for him. And then Kenny, of course. Kenny's a new character this season. Really cool introduction. Wasn't around for too long, but he had a nice moral code and just his own way of thinking that brought a different angle to the whole world about like how everybody's drunk on something and is only living for one thing because we're all selfish human beings. So that was very cool to see as well. It was nice to see Krista come on and like to really step into her own person and really take the leadership position. Now she's the queen. She's badass. She even like hit Levi and was like super confident. That was really fun. And Erwin, great. I love Erwin. He's such a good leader and he has that like figurehead that everybody looks up to him, but like you really get to see inside his head this season about like all the stuff he's lived through, all the people's lives he's cost, and how that guilt and everything is eating him up inside. And of course he dies and we finally see him at peace, and it was just a really cool arc to see his character come to an end. At the beginning, Gene had some really good character development. You know, we got that whole like coming to terms with killing somebody, but then he moved into realize what the job needed to be done, and he just did it just with no problem. And then I felt like out of all the bad guys, Bertolt got the best development here because we got to see inside of his head some of his motivations, how he like kind of abandoned them finally, but then he like is a victim of all of this and the scenario he's in, and he wanted to be saved, but despite him being like an enemy, that just couldn't happen, and so that was kind of tragic to see him get eaten by Armin. And then of course Grisha, Eren's dad, got a whole lot of development as we saw like this whole backstory that I'll talk to more later in the story part of it, but just really cool to see him as a person and what length he's going to go to fight for the people and like his kin. So overall, we got some cool new characters. Some characters had a lot of growth, some characters had like zero growth, Mikasa. But you know, it was okay. I mean, I love to see these characters and they focus on a lot of the characters that I really liked. I enjoyed that. Now moving on to the story, guys. So first arc was all about the government taking over. It was very different for Attack on Titan standards. It wasn't balls to the walls action. Levi was finally back. He got some nice action at the beginning, and it was very more interesting to see like this espionage side of Attack on Titan that we didn't really get to see before. And then on the flip side, we got to go return to Shiganshina, and that was like a really epic, awesome wartime, just all hope is lost, balls to the walls kind of storytelling there. And it was really cool to see our characters fight our enemies that we've been like waiting for this for an entire season, because like last time they threw down was like at the end of season 2. So it was really nice to come back to this. And then at the end of it all, we got to learn so much about the world outside of the known universe of Attack on Titan. It was basically vomiting lore onto us, and we're just having to take it all in, just like exposition, explosion. There's like a lot to take in, but it was very interesting to see that the world is so much bigger than what we knew before. Now we're gonna go on to the visuals, and so the visuals, a little like up and down, a little bit of a mixed bag. Some of the shots and like some of the animations really good. Some of it's like really kind of meh, just like basic like standard for Attack on Titan. Now there was some scenes in a random episode where it like harkened back to like the really old style where they had like the thick lines, and that was very cool. But some of the action sequences, we got like Levi fighting, and then when Levi fights a Beast Titan, like the animation for those sequences is just top notch, and like they really do that high octane animation well. Ironically, the biggest thing in the show, the Colossal Titan, is not really animated that well, and even the Rod Rice Titan, like the whatever CGI they're using for those dudes, like is not looking that great. I know like the studio's got other priorities, but this is Attack on Titan, man. Like you got to be putting your effort into those things, because it just looks cheesy and fake. So I'm gonna knock it on there for a little bit. But it's easy to overshadow, because I look past it, because then you get other shots where they actually do the 2D hand-drawn stuff for those big Titans, and that's all forgivable. And so I just look past that, but just those little nitpicks. And then when we finally get to the ocean looks beautiful. It just has a really weird, shiny, hyper-realistic feel to it, which I thought was really cool, and it shows like a huge milestone of them finally reaching the ocean, and we get this whole thing of just like coming to an end. It's like a kind of like a stepping off point for the show. But overall, the animation, while some of it impressive, overall I'd say it's another solid animation from Attack on Titan. Now going into the music. Music, as always, is really awesome. Attack on Titan has one of the best soundtracks. I'm not just gonna say in anime, I'm just gonna say of ever. Like the music is awesome. And I want to talk about the openings. The first opening, Red Swan, I think is called. It was very cool. It was a very nice change of pace that really matched the like whole slowdown of the espionage side arc of the first part of season 3. And so it was nice to see all that. It was like nice and a little bit of like homage to like other past and like where they're at now and how they've grown. And it was very nice and different from all the other Attack on Titan arcs. It's not my favorite, but I do really like what they were doing with it. And it was also applicable for the whole season. That's something that the second opening does not do. While the second opening is very high-packed action and really impressive with all the stuff going on, well, even though it does have a bad CGI Titan, it was like really cool and really awesome, but I'm gonna knock it. It's probably my least favorite Attack on Titan opening, because A, it does not fit the entire season. Once they introduce all the stuff with Marley and the Eldians, it makes zero freaking sense to have this as the opening. And then also because, like, to me, it just sounds like a remix of the very first original Attack on Titan piece, and it sounds like they're trying too hard to replicate that, where I prefer them to do their own thing. Like the season 2 opening, I thought was amazing, and that one fit for the whole season. So I almost wish they kind of did like a Sword Art Online Alicization thing, where they changed the visuals but kept the song the same mid-season, so it would still match what was going on. Like you could show stuff about the Marlians and the Eldians, and that'd be cool. You could even do still images if they're lazy like that. Whatever, I don't care, but just it didn't really. I didn't like. I mean, I liked it, but I wasn't like blown away by it. But you know, overall, Attack on Titan Season 3 was really good. I loved where they went with the story and the characters. They did some really cool things. Overall, it looked really awesome. Really exceptional sequences visually, and the music is always on par, really good. Got some cool new intros. Not my favorites, but still really good. But despite all the little tiny nitpicks I have with the season, I thought it was still really good overall. So I'm going to say Attack on Titan Season 3 kills in every aspect. Guys, if you're an Attack on Titan fan, you should go check this out. Watch it as soon as you can. You best be knowing I'm going to be picking it up on Blu-ray when it comes out, and hopefully they fix up the animation a little bit for like the Colossal Titan and the Rod Rice Titan. But that's I've been blabbering for a really long time, guys. I want to know what you guys thought about Attack on Titan Season 3 in the comment section below. And always, of course, we're still doing the Q&A session. I want to do Q&A for you guys, you know, just share a little bit about myself, get to know you guys and myself a little bit more with questions if you're new or whatever. So ask your questions down below if I might do like Q&A thing or like an FAQ thing if I get a lot of the same questions. But yeah, we're going to be doing more filmmaker reactions very soon, guys. New videos every single week. Don't forget that, and drop a like if you did enjoy the video. It really helps me out. Subscribe for new videos. We got I think we got some more like a Spring Day reaction coming out soon. more skits for the BTS videos and other music videos if I find it appropriate to do a skit. I got this new little thing that I can hold my phone and do a little behind the scenes stuff. So that's really cool. But anyways, this has made me Daniel AK-Phoenix, and I want you to find yourself, be yourself, and love yourself. Hi guys, Daniel AK-Phoenix here, checking in with you guys at the end of the video. If you did enjoy what you saw, please check out one of these other 2 videos, or just like the video and subscribe down below for a video every single week. Thank you guys. I love you. Have a good one.